Good morning, students. Today we are moving to the second section of our chapter 9, that is hereditary and evolution. We completed our first portion, that is hereditary, that is the botany portion we completed. Now we are moving to the zoology section, that is evolution. Okay. So before starting evolution, some recall of your memory, transmission of characteristics to progeny. Okay, so what is hereditary? Hereditary is the transmission of characteristics or traits from parents to the progeny that are called hereditary. Then, what is the reason behind the transmission? Genes are responsible for the characteristics, features, or traits of an organism. So, genes are transferring from one generation to another. So, genes are responsible for the characteristic features for organism. The organism may be plants or animals. Whether the organism is plant or it is animal, the character of an organism is responsible by the genes. This is the structure of genes. Okay. Then characters or traits are of two types. Character or traits are of two types. Acquired character and inherited character, or acquired traits and inherited traits. First one is acquired traits. What are acquired traits? A trait or characteristic of an organism which is not inherited but develops in response to the environment is called an acquired trait. Okay, so what is acquired trait? A character or a trait which are not inherited. Okay, that character is not given, or that character is not get for us from our parents, that are not inherited or that are not transmitted character. But how this character came? Due to some environmental influence we get that character. Okay, such type of trait or character are called acquired trait. And these acquired trait of an organism that cannot be passed on to their future generation, which means the acquired traits or character are not inheritable. That character cannot be transmitted from one generation to another. Only those traits can be transmitted to future generation. Which type of trait? The trait which happened due to any change in the genes. Okay, so only those traits that can be transmitted to future generation, which changes have occurred in the genes which is present in the reproductive cell of parent organism. Simply, if a character which is come by the gene, that character can be transmitted from one generation to another. Okay, but in case of acquired traits, these character are these character are developed by some environmental influence, not by the transmitter or not by the gene influence. So these type of character cannot be transmitted from one generation to another. Okay, example. Suppose you people know how to swim. Okay, so swimming is your acquired trait which you get by learning. That is by some environmental influence. You learned swimming, then you get that character swimming. But that swimming character may not be transmitted to your future generation, or that swimming trait may not be get from your past generation, that is from your parents. Okay, suppose your parent may not be aware about the swimming, they may not how to swim, but you people know how to swim. Okay, so this is an example for inherited trait. This is an example which is shown. Okay, rat, they having long tails. Okay, rat having long tails. What we done is we just cut the tails of the rat. We cut the tails of the rat and allow them to live. After their generation, they produces next generation. Okay, they produces their offspring. In their offspring, we are able to see tails. Okay, so what happened here? That lack of tail is an acquired trait which is not transmitted to the next generation. Okay, this is an example. So these are about acquired traits. Okay, acquired traits are trait of an organism which is not inherited but develops in response to the environment, and those character cannot be passed on to the future generation. Okay, only those traits can be transmitted to future generation which have occurred in the genes present in the reproductive cells of parent organism. Okay, then what are inherited traits? Inherited traits are trait of an organism which is caused by a change in its gene. Okay, so if a trait is caused by a change in its gene, that trait can be passed to future generation. Why? Because the changes happen in the gene. Okay, the character is developed due to the change happen in the gene. So such type of character change or such type of traits can be transmitted to future generation. So these are the characteristics which we receive from our parents. Okay, so suppose our parent gene have some changes which causes a new character, that character can be transmitted to our gene and we get those type of character. So only these trait can be transmitted to future generation. Okay, example, look, the color change of beetle from red to green by a change in the gene or DNA. Okay, suppose a change happen in the gene of the parent, so which results in the formation of a new color, that is from red to green. Okay, so this green color may help that beetle from the predator. Okay, so it is a what? Environmental free. Environment free means which it can use in the survival use in the environment. Okay, so the change from red beetle to green beetle can be considered to be an example of evolution because it helps in its survival by mixing with green bushes. Okay, so the change in the red color to green color is helpful for that beetle to survive in the environment. So this is the example for an inherited traits. Then eye color. Okay, suppose our parents may have a blue color eye, so there is 100% chance to transmit that color of eye to our future generation. Why? Because those eye color are caused, or those eye color are controlled by some genes which is present in your cell. Okay, so these are about what? Inherited traits. Okay, so two type of character, acquired traits and inherited traits. Acquired traits are traits which we get from the environment which are not transmitted to the next generation, whereas inherited traits are the character or traits which we get from our parent through the genes. So those type of character can be transmitted from one generation to another. Then come to the evolution part. Okay, so what is evolution? So evolution is a kind of gradual formation of new organism from the pre-existing primitive organism through slow and steady change. Okay, so what is evolution? Evolution is a gradual formation of new organism from the pre-existing primitive organism. Whether it is a sudden change? No, it is through slow and steady changes. So, evolution is the sequence of gradual changes that takes place in the primitive organism over millions of years in which new species are produced. Okay, so evolution is the sequence of gradual changes which takes place in the primitive organism over millions of years in which new species are produced. So, due to several changes happening in the pre-existing organism, after millions of years passing, new species are developed from that already existing species. That is called evolution. And evolution is not a sudden process. It is a gradual, time-consuming, slow, steady process. Then, here is an example. Okay, the process of evolution will become more clear by the example. Okay, so this is a pterosaur. Okay, development of pterosaur is an example of evolution. So pterosaur is an ancient flying reptile. Flying reptile. We know reptiles cannot fly. Okay, so this is an evolution. Pterosaur is an ancient flying reptile which lived on the earth about 150 million years ago. Okay, so 150 million years ago there is a type of animal which was lived in our earth which called as pterosaur, and it is called as an ancient flying reptile. Okay, so the development of pterosaur is an example for evolution. How? The development or the evolution which begin from the life as a big lizard. Okay, there is a big lizard which could just crawl on the land. There is a big lizard that has the ability to crawl on the land. Over millions of years pass, small fold of skin which developed between the feet which enabled it to glide from tree to tree. Okay, so after over millions of years, there is a fold of skin is developed between the feet, so which helps that lizard to glide from one tree to another tree. Then over many and many generations, spread over millions of years, that fold of skin and the bone and the muscle which supporting them grew to form wings, so it can fly. Okay, so initially or at the beginning stage it was a lizard which has the ability to crawl only. Then after millions of years pass, there is a fold of skin which is developed between the feet. Okay, fold of skin which developed between the feet. Then again after many and many generations, these fold of skin may develop to form wings, so that those pterosaurs have the ability to fly. So this is an example for evolution. So this is not a sudden development. Okay, so this take millions and millions of years to become from the big lizard to pterosaur. It take millions of years. Okay, so the evolution is not a gradual process. Sorry, evolution is not a sudden process. It is a gradual or steady slow process. So these are about evolution. Okay, then what are the evidences of evolution? Okay, now there are various biological studies which tell us about the origin, living organism and all other things which evolved into new forms. But a number of common features of different kind of organism which provide evidences for the evolution. Okay, evidences for the evolution. So the more characteristic features of two species have in common, the more closely they will be related. Okay, which means if two species have the characteristics more common, if two species have more common characteristics, we can assume the two are more closely related. Some important sources which provide the evidence of evolution are, okay, the evidences for evolution which can be provided by homologous organ, analogous organ and fossil. Homologous organ, analogous organ and fossil. First one, homologous organ. Okay, homologous organ. Homo means same. Homologous organ. These organs which have the same basic structure. Homologous means same basic structure but different functions. Okay, organs which have same basic structure but different functions are called homologous organs. Look, the hand of human, the forelimb of lizard, forelimb of frog, forelimb of bat and forelimb of bird. All these have almost same basic structure. Okay, all these have almost same basic structure but their function is different. Look, the forelimb of amphibian, reptiles, birds and mammals have similar structure but different functions. Example, if it is frog use its forelimb to raise the front of the body. What is the use of forelimb of frog? To raise the front of the body. In case of lizard, it uses the forelimb for walking and running. In case of birds, they use their forelimb as wings for flying. Okay, then mammals, we use the limbs for grasping, walking, running, swimming, flying, etc. So these shows evolutionary relationship between these organisms. These organs. Okay, so even though all of these limbs have similar in structure, but their function is different, that is called homologous organ. Homo means same structure but different function, that is homologous organ. Now these are the examples of homologous organs. Then what is analogous organ? Okay, what is analogous organ? Ana means different. The organs which have different basic structure. The organs which have different basic structure but have similar appearance and perform similar function. Okay, so what are analogous organs? Just opposite to homologous organ. This basic structure is different but having similar function. The basic structure is different but they are performing similar function. Look, the wing of butterfly, bird and bat have different structure. Look, the structure of the wing of bat, wing of bird and the insect wing, okay, all have different structure but but the function is similar. Okay, the function is, what is the function? Flying is the function. Okay, the function is same but all have different basic structure, that is called analogous organ. Okay, so this is wing of insect, wing of bird, both have different structure but having same function. Then the other one which is not in your syllabus, just I am giving for a knowledge, that is called vestigial organs. Okay, vestigial organs which are non-functional in the present day forms but were functional in the ancestor. Okay, in our ancestor these organs are function but now we have no functions on these organs. Example, appendix and wisdom tooth. Okay, so nowadays appendix and wisdom tooth has no function but in our past, that is in our ancestor, these organs have their function. Then the last one is fossil. Okay, fossil provide evidence for evolution. What is fossils? The remains or the impression of dead animals or plants that lived in the remote past are known as fossils. Okay, some dead remains or impressions of dead animals or plants. Okay, dead animals or plant impression or remains that are lived in the remote past are called fossils, are known as fossils. So what are fossils? Fossils are some dead remains or expression of plant or animals which are live in our past age. Okay, so these fossils may give certain evidences of evolution. From the study of fossils, we can know their structure and time period in which they lived. Okay, when we are studying the fossil, we may know about that the structure. Okay, we came to a conclusion about the structure of that organism by seeing the impression or remnants. We can easily identify the structure and the time period in which they lived. Okay, we can calculate the time period when they were lived. The fossil of complex and recent organisms are found closer to the surface of the earth and the fossil of simple organisms are found deeper inside the earth. Look, the fossil of complex, okay, the complex organism or the recent organism, the recently died organism. Recently died means not the past month or past year. Okay, past few millions years. Okay, so the recently died organism and the complex organism that we can found more closer to the earth surface, whereas the simpler organism are found deeper inside the earth. Okay, so these also provide an idea about the age of the organism. Now, the age of the fossils can be determined by radiocarbon dating. Okay, the process for determination of fossil age is called radiocarbon dating. Okay, we know all the living objects contain some carbon-14 atom. All the living objects contain some carbon-14 atoms which are radioactive. Okay, when a living object die and form fossil, its carbon-14 radioactivity goes on decreasing gradually. So what is the thing? all living objects which contain some carbon-14 atoms which are radioactive. When a living object die, the carbon-14 radioactivity which goes on decrease gradually. So in the carbon-14 dating method, how we will find out the age is, the age of fossil is found by comparing the carbon-14 radioactivity which is left in the fossil and the carbon-14 radioactivity which is present in the living objects today. Okay, you understand the method carbon dating. All living objects which contain some carbon-14 atoms in their body which are radioactive. When a living object die and become fossil, the amount of carbon-14 radioactivity goes down or which decrease gradually. Okay, so when a living organism die and become fossil, the carbon-14 radioactivities which is present in the organism goes down gradually. Then if we found out some fossil, okay, suppose we find out some fossil, what we done is we will find out the carbon-14 radioactivities which is present in the fossil, okay, and we compare that amount with the carbon-14 radioactivity which is present in the living objects today. So this is how we compare the age. So we can easily find out the age. Okay, there are various kinds of fossil which is present. There are various kinds of fossils which are present. Some important fossil which have been studied are ammonite, tribolite, dinosaur. Okay, ammonite, tribolite and dinosaur skull are the three major important fossils which have been studied. Okay, what are ammonites? Ammonites were the invertebrate animals which a flat coiled spiral shell which lived in the sea. Okay, which lived in the sea. The estimated age is 180 million years old. The estimated age is 180 million years old. Okay, and so ammonite is the flat coiled spiral shaped structure which was lived in the sea, and it has more than 180 million years old. Okay, then come to the tribolites. Tribolites were marine arthropods. Tribolites were marine arthropods which were common between 400 to 600 million years ago. Okay, the age of tribolite is 400 to 600 million years ago, and these tribolites were marine arthropods. Then come to the dinosaur skull. Okay, the dinosaurs are extinct carnivorous or herbivorous reptiles. Okay, what are dinosaurs? Dinosaurs are extinct. Extinct means which were lived in the past ancestor, not now. Okay, the extinct carnivores or herbivore reptiles. The estimate age of dinosaur fossil is about 250 million years ago. 250 million years ago, and which become extinct about 65 millions ago. So they were in 250 millions ago. They were present on the earth on 250 million years ago, but they came to extinction around 65 million years ago. Okay, so we can study about those species which are extinct, that is no longer exist in the earth, by studying their fossils which are found during the digging of earth. Then how the fossils are forming? So Archaeopteryx. What are Archaeopteryx? Archaeopteryx, which is believed to be the connecting link between reptiles and birds. Okay, so if you look, it may look like partially reptile and it may look like partially bird. So it acts as a connecting link between the reptiles and birds, which we obtain these Archaeopteryx fossil. Okay, which we obtain the fossil of this Archaeopteryx. So we find out it is a connecting link between the reptiles and birds. How the fossils are forming? When organisms die, their body get decomposed by the action of microorganisms, that is decomposers. When organisms die, their bodies get decomposed by the action of microorganisms. Some conditions of the environment do not let the body to decompose properly. So, thus that will form fossil. When an organism die, their body gets decomposed by the action of decomposers or some microorganisms. Sometimes the environment condition do not let the body to decompose properly. Thus, that will become fossil. Okay, that's are the remnants or impressions of dead organism. So these are about the first part about evolution. So we studied about inherited traits and acquired traits. Then we studied what is evolution. Then what are the evidences of evolution. Okay. In our next class we can study Darwin theory of evolution and natural selection. So these are about today. Thank you.